Hi, I'm Abattis with Cannabis Investing News. Speaking with me today is Mike Withrow, CEO of Abattis Bioceuticals. Mike, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. A pleasure to be here.
Great. So I was just wondering, how does your proprietary BDL process work, and why is it important to your company?
The proprietary environment that we've created is key in a number of ways. It produces an environment which is a pharma-grade environment to produce this medicine that we're growing and extracting from. It will allow us and the users of the system to have traceability and consistency in the product that we grow. It allows to compartmentalize strains of the cannabis so that you can grow a strain in 800 plants in one cube and then 800 in another cube of a different strain. There's no cross-contamination. It will allow lower energy costs because they're very energy efficient, which reduces the product cost.
Great. And on that note, with regards to your aggregation strategy for collecting waste, how will products made from marijuana leaves and stems be used?
We plan on working with other cultivators that are licensed and legal to grow under the MMPR in Canada and aggregate the waste streams if they are willing to part with them to our pharma facility in Quebec City. They're just outside of Quebec City, and have that waste stream processed into a biomass that then can be either freeze-dried and extracted from or turned into value-added products that we believe will be higher margin. We've got the ability at that facility to extract from the biomass and to receive from others, and it solves a problem for them. They don't have to deal with the waste stream. We will supply a system where they just pack it up and send it, nitrogen it, and then off to Quebec it goes.
Absolutely, that's really interesting. And just to touch on your presence in Canada and the US, you're based in Canada, but you've also ventured into the marijuana market in Washington through your acquisition of controlling interest in Phytolytics LLC, and you also have a third interest in IPS Transaction Company. So I'm just wondering, what has been the most difficult part of advancing your legal marijuana business in Canada and the United States?
Well, the difficulty, when you're dealing with regulators, there's always some delays, and you want things to happen sooner than what they actually do. Just go through the process, and things start to happen and fall into place. We've got a good legal team. We went to the path of safety and efficacy in the labs in the U.S. and in the payment system because they solve two problems with eliminating the need for cash on preloaded cards that are linked to a patient card, so that you can measure how much a product, a medicine a person's getting, or a product if it's in recreational. So we're hands off the cannabis in that sense. And then in the lab aspect, it's about the measuring and dosing and safety and knowing what people are ingesting. So we felt it was important to do that. We've actually sponsored a monograph which has the standards that's published through the American Herbal Pharmacopoeia. So we were part of that to do that. Now they're doing their compendium for therapeutics of that same thing. So it's an extension of the identification and standardization and analytics.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, you had a recent corporate presentation that mentioned how you're in a controversial and polarized business. Could you expand on that? And you also say that Abattis is working to communicate its responsibilities, and well, why do you think that's important?
Well, the monograph is a good example of being corporately responsible and contributing to something that advances the industry in a sense that there's measuring and dosing, and people know what they're putting in their body, and there's no heavy metals or contaminants or toxins in that. So we thought the lab was a very good way to go. It also links us to the growers, the infusers, the value-add processors, and the dispensaries that are working with this new set of laws and in this new set, well, it's now above ground sector rather than underground sector. And as far as the phytolytics is going to want to take that and then work within each state and brand that lab and have it so that phytolytics is known as and Phytolab, it's phytolab.com, is known as the place to go to and know that the product's been tested properly and has a certificate of analysis to know that it's what's in that.
Right, so quality is very important to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. And finally, I was hoping to touch on your financing. So
Sure.
I noticed that you've seen a fair bit of success with your financings. You closed a $2.4 million financing roughly in 2 weeks in March, and you've got another $2 million financing going on right now.
Right.
So how have you been closing your financing so quickly, and who's been participating in that?
We've had the insider group had taken down a lot of the 2.4 that was done recently, and the network of that insider group. Some investors out of the U.S. came to us and said, "We want to participate. We like what you're doing." So we offered up to. We don't really want to do that much. We don't need it. We've got $2.5 million in the bank right now, and we're debt free. So we've got our plan and our working capital to work with. We just wanted to bring in some other investors that maybe missed out on the first round there, and we expect to close that shortly. It is a polarizing industry, and you see the votes in the U.S. at going over 50% level now, and I think that you're seeing more states come online. Minnesota just passed a bill. The industry is really, and the regulators are now starting to realize that if it's treated as a medicine and regulated, there's a lot more good that comes from it than bad.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for speaking with me today.
Thanks, Teresa. It's been a pleasure.
Great. Again, this has been Mike Withrow with Abattis Bioceuticals. Abattis trades on the Canadian Stock Exchange under the symbol ATT. I'm Teresa Matic with Cannabis Investing News.